Howdy, howdy, howdy. Here we are with another one of the tier lists, going through all of the paths in the game and ranking the characters on the tier list, right? Because we can, so why not? This is entertaining for me, and I like to do this. Now, we are on to preservation, and similar to remembrance, there is not very many of them here. There's just a couple, so it shouldn't take too long to go through them, especially because these characters, a lot of them are old and pretty straightforward and simple. So let's go ahead and start. I do normally add another row above with the SS tier, but none of these characters go into such a tier, in my opinion. Now, March 7th. I don't think she's D tier. Most people probably put her in D tier. I put her in C tier. Now, she does have a lot of niche viability, especially for like 4-star only runs or like free-to-play stuff, or I've seen... I can't remember the guy's name. I'm sorry. You're awesome. You're a big Giga Chat. But whoever the guy is, the one that made the videos where he had no polls account and he like cleared everything. He cleared the swarm disaster and like freaking everything for the longest time. Dude, March was... He clutched that shit up so hard every time I watched a video when he was doing this stuff. March is actually really good for that kind of stuff. So she has her little niche, but outside of that, she's not that great. But you know, a team-wide, or not team-wide, a full AoE freeze on everything is actually pretty good. And having an aggro increase with her shield and giving a shield, it's pretty good. I think if she got buffed, she could actually be a really solid unit if they buff 4 stars, that is. So, you know, maybe she'll be better in the future, but right now she's just okay. Oh, and she does have the follow-up attack synergy, so she could work as some extra level of niche synergy, I guess, with Face Shower or something. Next, we have Destruction MC. Now, this is another one that I'm gonna get some flack for this, okay? We're putting Destruction MC in B tier. Now, you might be thinking, why are they in B tier? They should be in D tier. They should be in F tier. No, I put them in B tier. And there's good reason for that. Now, they might not be used a lot, and honestly, their biggest drawback, in my opinion, would be that they are a main character, which means you can't use them in tandem with other MCs, okay? And HMC and RMC are both really freaking strong. HMC is crazy good, and RMC is meta as fuck. So that's a pretty big downside. There's not really any reason to use Destruction main character over those. Now, if you wanted to commit to using them, or you didn't need the other two, they do actually have some value. They have really good toughness reduction with their enhanced basic, like pretty solid toughness reduction with a bit of AoE, like, or a blast attack, okay, which is really good. And they have a full AoE ult that also has good toughness reduction, and it actually has not horrible damage. And there are some light cones you can put on DMC that are, you know, help with that. Like if you end up S5ing, I know it's a battle pass light cone, but if you get S5 on the preservation battle pass light cone so that you have def scaling damage on your ults and you get extra def percent, that's actually pretty fancy. You can actually get some way more damage than you would think out of their ults. Like legitimately try that. If you have that light cone, you'll get more damage than you think you should. And they work really well with that. And you can also get their ult back really fast, so they can work pretty well in pure fiction. And again, the toughness reduction is really good. They're tanky, and they have a taunt, a full taunt, which is actually really good at times. It can help a lot. It's got really niche use, but a perfect taunt is actually really, really strong in the right scenario. Now, it was great when the game came out. They were S tier. Can you believe that? At one point, they were in S tier. All right, like everybody would have put them in S tier, but now not anymore. But I do still think they have value, more than they get credit for. Jeopard. I also put Jeopard in B tier. I almost want to say A tier. You know, A tier if you're a newer player, right? He's got a lot of value for a newer player, especially when you go into the simulated universe, but normally just B tier. Because he's really good at keeping the team alive, but if the team is too fast, the shield wears off. And he's kind of hard to build early on. I guess that's a little counterproductive for a newer player, right? He's good for a newer player, but also he's not, because you need to build him properly to have 100% shield uptime. But if you don't have somebody that's good for keeping you alive, Jeopard's your man. I really like using Japard in the simulated universe. Now, we don't have preservation blessings in newer Divergent universe content, but in the older simulated universe content, using preservation blessings and getting all of them and using Japard is one of the safest and easiest ways to clear all of that content. It's just so comfortable. He's very, very good at keeping the team alive. This man hard carried my ass for like 6 months in the game to keeping me alive. Very good. I love Japard, and he can freeze, all right? He's got a really good freeze, and he can increase the base chance of freezing with, I think it's his E1, and his E2 slows the enemy's speed down by like 30% or 20 or 30% after they recover from being frozen. So if we ever get a character that wants freeze in the future, he could have a lot of synergy. He has potential. Next is Fu Xuan. Oh, ooh, A tier. Yeah, I almost want to like move the tiers down, right? Like, if D tier wasn't trash, okay, right? Like, you know, I feel like Fu Xuan should be like an A minus. I don't think she's good enough to say A tier, but she's not in B tier, okay? Now, I want you to take this with the context of I'm a raging Fu Xuan simp. I will stand her till the day I die. I love Fu Xuan so much, but she's not good. She's not. If the enemy has too much AoE damage, she's dead. If the battle lasts too long, her and her team, dead. If the enemy has DOT, dead. She's just not a good sustain compared to other characters. I am in the Fu Xuan main subreddit. In Holy Cope, they are on some really hard stuff, and I want whatever they have, okay? Please. Life sounds great living off of what they are smoking. Because they seem to think that Fu Xuan is still godlike. She's not. I'm sorry. I love her, but she's not that good. She gives a 12% crit rate buff. That's pretty nice. That's about the extent of it. She can have good personal damage nowadays if you pair her with like Tribi. Okay, she has some value, but most of the other sustains are going to be better than her. Pretty much every abundance character is better than Fu Xuan. She has not aged well. She's aged horribly. And now you might be thinking, oh, your Fu Xuan's probably built terribly, because that's usually what, you know, the go-to excuse for people in the Fu Xuan mains subreddit is like, oh, you just have a bad built Fu Xuan. I've got a pretty freaking solid Fu Xuan compared to other people, okay? My Fu Xuan, I think she's at like 140 something speed, like 8k health, 2400 defense or something like that. I just know that she's built pretty damn good, okay? And she just dies. I have way better time using basically any other character. Now, she does have some value in simulated universe like Japard does if you pair her with a second sustain, because a lot of the time in like high-end Swarm Disaster, the enemies do way too much damage. So I like to use her with Hua, right? You run 2 sustain units, a healer and a preservation unit. That could be nice. But generally speaking, she's not that great. Though if you're a new player and you lose the 50-50 to her, she will actually be pretty good for your account, okay? Like, she's going to be better than a March 7th as your sustain. But she's just okay at best. And finally, Adventuring. S tier. Really good. He's aged so well. I feel like compared to when he came out, he's only gotten better as time goes on. He is the best sustain in the follow-up teams. He's got great personal damage. He can make the enemy take more crit damage, even though it's not that much. He's got really thick shields with really good uptime. He's just a really, really good character. And with his consistent follow-ups, he can generate a crap ton of energy back for Robin, as well as making a ton of stacks for like Fei Xiao, right? He's just a really good character. And even outside of those teams, he works pretty much universally in any team to keep your team alive. Really good. Get his light cone for an extra debuff so the enemy takes even more damage. And then he has a debuff and he works in Acheron teams. Very good character. He's probably going to get power crept at some point by a newer preservation. I can see that happening, but as it stands, he's really good and you probably won't regret getting him anytime soon. That's it for preservation. If you have any thoughts about the rankings or what I've said or whatever, let me know in the comments down below. I love hearing people's opinions because this isn't objective. This is subjective. I change my mind all the time, right? Like maybe one day I could have someone could convince me to put March in S tier. Okay, that's not impossible. All right. It's important to keep an open mind about these kind of things. So if you have an opinion, let me know. That's gonna do it though. Adios.